Q&A with Christophe.
Q&A with Christophe.
Q&A with Christophe.
Here's a question. Well, it's from Lenny, it's from the US. But I've received more questions like that. Sometimes, you seem to be skeptical about technology. Is that so? No, it's not. I have absolutely no problem with technology at all. Actually, I'm a fan. I could give you a few examples in my life. Well, when I started my company, by then there were no tools to really make websites, and I learned the language and I created the whole website myself, and it worked quite well. When I was in the agribusiness, I remember in the 90s, well, I was the first one to have a cell phone, and it took me quite a bit of work to get a cell phone, and it was because I was prospecting a lot, so I was out of the office a lot, and I needed to have a way of contacting the office, and by then, well, there was not a lot of possibilities. Another thing, when I moved to aquaculture, and I was in '98, well, I was based in the Netherlands, but basically I was based from home, and I was spending my time between the Netherlands, between Chile and Canada and the US and other places. And so I was working hybrid, I was going to the head office when I was in the Netherlands, and I was spending there a couple of days a week. I was never in the same office, but with the receptionist I wanted to make sure that they knew where I was, and if needed, if somebody would like to call me, they could call me at a particular extension. It was never the same office, but who cares? Same thing when I was in Chile or Canada, it was not always the same office, but doesn't matter. And I had a cell phone, well, the model from Nokia that's used in the Matrix, and I had connected that with it was a IBM ThinkPad laptop, and I'd managed to basically connect that, and I could send faxes and all, because by then, well, it was the beginning of email, but there was still a lot of communication on faxes, and I was spending a lot of time in airplanes and hotels, and I felt a little bit like James Bond, so no problems, When I was a kid, I loved to play with electronics, and I loved to open the TV and things like that to figure out how it would work, and I was building things and deconstructing things. So no, I'm a fan of tech, but I have a critical mind, and we hear about tech all the time, but I'm not convinced that all the tech that are presented are actual solutions. So if I don't have a feeling that it really solves anything, then I don't see why I should be a fan. Unlike a lot of other futurists, I'm not jumping on every new trend and every new hype just to be part of the conversation. I just look at it, does it make sense or not? I focus on things that make sense and not so much. But I am in favor of innovation. I think it's great that all sorts of people try all sorts of solutions and all sorts of things, because, even if there is only 10% is going to succeed, well, it's worth taking all the action and trying all sorts of things, because in the end, there will be something coming out. Or sometimes you have one technology is not going to really succeed, but it's going to start the development of other things, and then those things are going to succeed. So no, you have to let people try, and I think that's the great thing about human beings is we are always very creative, always try to find ways of going faster or saving time or making our lives easier, and that's good. But what I do is, I take a good look, and if it doesn't make sense to me, then I just say it doesn't make sense to me, and I explain why. And I could give you an example. Well, I was with the plant-based imitation meat. I remember it was in 2019. I was speaking at a conference, and I was pretty much showing them why I thought that was going to be a flop. And I got some really bad looks, because they were executives from some big ingredient companies, and for those companies, if the plant-based imitation meat had developed, well, that was a great business. Okay, they didn't agree with me, and apparently they were a little upset, but if they believed me, they probably saved probably hundreds of millions of dollars. If they didn't, well, and they wasted that money. But the way I see my role is I say what I think, and I explain why I think the way I think. After that we can have a conversation, and yeah, everybody is totally free to to agree with me or not. But I think it's more important for me to say what I think than trying to say what I think that people want to hear, because if I tell people what they want to hear, I'm not helping them. I'm not creating any trigger in their heads to try to think differently or to challenge their thoughts. I think it's my role to tell them what my vision is of the future, what I think is going to work and how it should work. After that, yeah, it's up to my audience to decide.
If you're interested in my videos, please click on the subscribe button, or you can also visit my website.